What's up, my favorite fellow iron addicts? Welcome back to Martial Mind Bodybuilding, the place where we cut through the BS of modern fitness, talk about silver era aesthetics, and bring back the old school mindset, drug free and built to last. Today's episode is gonna ruffle some feathers because we're diving into high intensity training HIT, not just as a workout method, but as a cult-like philosophy pushed by two of the most polarizing figures in bodybuilding history, Mike Mentzer and Arthur Jones. These two guys had a radical take on training. They said, you don't need high volume, just one set to failure. You don't need to train every day, just once or twice a week. Machines can be better than free weights, according to Jones. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, we're gonna break it all down. What they got right, what they got dead wrong, and whether HIIT training is a joke or a secret weapon for the natural lifter. So grab your protein shake, flex those biceps, and let's get into it.
The word back still under day one. Exercise number one for the back will be closed.
Okay,
Alright, so let's start with Mike Mentzer. Now, if you know anything about old school bodybuilding, you know this guy had a physique that was insanely developed. Big, dense, symmetrical, and ripped to the bone. He was the first bodybuilder to ever score a perfect 300 in a professional contest at the 1979 Mr. Olympia. But he's mostly remembered for his extreme take on high-intensity training. Mentzer was inspired by Arthur Jones, the guy behind Nautilus Machines, and took his philosophy to the next level. He believed one all-out set to failure is enough for growth. Training too frequently destroys muscle gains. Overtraining is the biggest enemy for muscle growth. Sounds about logical, right? Train harder, not longer. But here's the problem. Mike Mentzer didn't even train like this when he built his legendary physique. If you look at his early training routines, he was doing more volume, not just one set. He was also doing more frequency, training multiple times a week. He was also doing more compound free weights, not just Nautilus Machines. So why did he later promote training once every 4 to 10 days? That's where things start getting really weird. Now, let's talk about the craziest character in this whole story, Arthur Jones. Jones was a businessman and an inventor, and one of the most brutally honest people in the fitness world. He straight up hated bodybuilders and thought they were idiots. But despite that, he created some of the most evolutionary gym equipment, Nautilus Machines. His training philosophy was simple. Machines are superior to free weights. One set to failure is enough. Most people waste time with junk volume. But here's the twist. Arthur Jones wasn't just about making training efficient. He wanted to humiliate bodybuilders and prove them wrong. His most famous experiment, the Colorado experiment with Casey Viator. Viator supposedly gained 63 pounds of muscles in 28 days using HIIT training. Sounds amazing, right? But there's a catch. Viator had been training for years, lost a lot of muscle from an accident, and was likely using roids. So, HIIT really a game changer, or was this just marketing hype?
Has retired from professional bodybuilding. He has also stopped using PEDs. However, because of years of intense training, even though he...
So here's where we get real. Why doesn't everyone train like Mike Mentzer and Jones today? If HIIT was so amazing, why don't we see every champion bodybuilder using it? Let's break it down. Number one, it's too extreme. The idea that you only need one set every 10 days is ridiculous, especially if you're natural. Even Dorian Yates, Mentzer's biggest success story, modified HIIT. He did more warm-up sets, more volume, and more frequent training than Mentzer suggested. Number 2, Mentzer didn't even follow his own advice. When he won Mr. Universe, he trained with high volume, not just one set. He became more extreme later in life, possibly due to mental health struggles. Number 3, machines over free weights. Bad idea. Machines are useful, but free weights will always be the king for maximal hypertrophy and strength. Jones pushed Nautilus because he owned the company. He had a financial interest in making free weights look bad. So, and number 4, HIIT training is brutal on the CNS. Going to absolute failure every time, every session can fry your central nervous system. That's why most lifters who tried pure HIIT couldn't sustain it for long periods. So now let's go into who should follow or who should use HIIT, HIT, right? High intensity training. All right, so does that mean HIIT is useless? Not at all. There's a time and a place for this type of training. If you are short on time, HIIT can be effective for maintaining muscle with lower volume. If you've been slacking in intensity, HIIT can teach you to train hard. If you are recovering from injury or burnout, a lower volume approach could help. But if you want consistent long-term growth, you're better off with moderate volume, 6 to 12 sets per muscle, right? Per week. A mix of heavy compounds and isolation work. Training each muscle group at least 2 times per week. Each muscle group at least 2 times per week. You got that? You better rewind that and listen to that. Each muscle group at least 2 times per week. Alright? So here's the final verdict. Mentzer and Jones were geniuses, but their methods were taken to the extreme. If you want to build a silver era physique naturally, you need to train hard, but also smart. HIT works in small doses, but don't fall for the one-set wonder nonsense. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, drop a review, and check out my Martial Mind Bodybuilding website for coaching programs and old school training guides. Until next time, train hard, train smart, and build that classic physique. Boom!